Cleveland kicked the Birds' butts today in their second and final joint practice, with Joe Flacco slicing and dicing the secondary. Well, the culprits weren't the usual suspects, but there were some positives, including Drew Mukuba, Will Shipley, and Philadelphia's first-round draft pick. Plus, by Lane Johnson and A.J. Brown sat out once again, and the big hint that Landon Dickerson just dropped from Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. Well, if you were hoping for a joint practice like the Birds have had the past couple of years, aka practice where they, say, dominate the New England Patriots like they did last year, you would have been pretty darn disappointed in Philadelphia's second battle at the Novacare Complex today against the Cleveland Browns. As by all accounts, Philadelphia got beat, and beat pretty handedly on both sides of the football. But of course, one bad practice doesn't mean the sky is falling, and there were still quite a few standouts. First, though, we hit 100,000 subs last night, which is still unbelievable. I want to thank all of you guys for watching the show, hitting the like button, subscribing, and commenting as you guys always do. As mentioned, got that number, and now we're doing giveaways. I went ahead and announced the winner of the Dorney Park giveaway with BG on my live stream earlier today, so you can go down below and watch that one. Already heard from the winner, and so those tickets are accounted for. But in terms of Eagles tickets and the sign gear, that's happening very, very soon. So essentially, the next video I do, which is going to be sometime this weekend, I'll announce the winner of the 2 Eagles tickets. To enter, be subscribed, drop a like, and why don't you go down below, tell me which game you would go to if you've won. Of course, if you comment on any video since we started the giveaway announcement, you're already entered, but let me know down below. Now, in terms of the good at practice on Thursday, early training camp standout Elijah Cooks, who suffered a shoulder injury last Thursday in the preseason opener, finally returned to the field. Albeit in a very limited fashion, but he was out there, must now work to get back to 100% so he can have an actual shot to make this roster. Because despite offensive struggles against the Browns today, one of the main standouts was Elijah Cooks' main competition for that wide receiver roster spot in Darius Cooper, who got a big gainer on a crossing route for a nice chunk of yards. And how about this? Beat Browns' #1 cornerback Denzel Ward on a slant with the ones. I think Cooper is still in the bubble as of right now, mainly because Johnny Wilson's been playing well. Who knows about Elijah Cooks? Anais Smith is also in the mix. But Darius Cooper has a very impressive Saturday performance in a preseason game. Once again, I'm going to move him from a maybe roster player to a lock roster player. I think he's going to make this roster. Staying with the wide receivers, and yet another day without A.J. Brown, as the Birds receiver himself assumed his usual hoodie and sweats on the sideline, what I believe is now his 8th missed practice of camp so far. Although if there is some positive, it's that Nick Sirianni in his press conference this morning seemed to confirm that Brown did not suffer a setback following those weird limited reps in Sunday's open practice, and instead remains on schedule to be back very soon.
I don't look at it that way. I just look at it, everybody's on their own schedule. Everybody's on a different schedule based off their health and different things like that. So we'll look forward to getting him back on the field when he comes back.
I'm not ready to worry about A.J. Brown's status yet because there's still 21 days until week 1. But let's say he doesn't practice by, I don't know, this time next week, my alarm bells might start to ring ever so softly.
But if there's anybody in the world I'm not really concerned about, it's that guy. He's pretty good at doing his job and getting open. So.
Also, if you travel a lot or have a big trip coming up, then Saley is the app you need. What is Saley? Well, it's a super simple eSIM app that keeps you connected in over 200 places around the world. A few months back, my wife and I went to Europe, had a blast, but we felt the insane roaming fees when I should have just downloaded Saley. Picked a plan that worked for my trip and installed it on my phone. That's literally it. And then your data on your phone works from the moment you land. And what's great is you only need to install the eSIM once, and you can use it across countries with a regional or global plan. The quick setup saves you time at the airport, and you avoid getting scam buying SIM cards on the street. Plus, Saley helps you save mobile data with built-in ad blocker and gives you added security with features like web protection. Plus, it works with iPhone and Android, and you get 24/7 support if you ever need help. And right now, you can save 15% off your plan by just downloading the app and using my promo code MOTTSHOW at checkout. So try Saley, start saving, and stay connected wherever you go. Moving on to the Birds' struggles versus the Browns, and we start with Myles Garrett, who obviously is the best edge rusher in maybe the entire National Football League, but he reportedly had his way with the Philadelphia Eagle offensive line the entire practice, with beat writer Jimmy Kempski tweeting, quote, Myles Garrett sacking Jalen Hurts on almost every single play. He just pulls up and lets the Eagles finish the rep. It's almost comical. And Kempski wasn't the only one. Multiple reporters on both sides for both teams were saying that Myles Garrett was a one-man wrecking ball today, and the Eagle offensive line could not contain him. Of course, the catch is that Philadelphia rested Lane Johnson along with Saquon Barkley, obviously A.J. Brown, and of course Landon Dickerson. I think Philadelphia started Matt Pryor at right tackle, and hence the mixed match offensive line and a little bit of struggles against Myles Garrett. Does this mean the Birds' O-line is cooked without Lane Johnson? I wouldn't say that, although historically the numbers would agree, but it definitely shows just how important not only 65 is, but how dominant Flash Gordon is coming off the edge.
Just being a football fan, it's fun to watch him just move. You know, he's an alien out there. Just watching him move, it reminds me of like like a predator with some ice skates running through the grass.
Yeah, we pride ourselves on the plug and play, and we just weren't good enough yesterday. Just from a conditioning standpoint, maybe from a execution standpoint as well. I did think that we did really, really good things in the run game. That is very evident. The film don't lie there. But in the pass game, I certainly could be a lot better, a bit more firmer up there on the blind side. And I think we're a bit leaky sometimes. But, yeah, we could definitely be a lot better.
One thing worth mentioning about the offensive line, I guess the Browns defense in general, multiple reporters thought the Browns themselves were doing a little bit more than a typical vanilla lineups and adjustments in a joint practice. They were trying maybe a little bit harder and showing Philadelphia some different looks than they expected. That's not a bad thing, probably actually a good thing for the Birds, but it might have thrown them off a little bit, at least stopping that pass rush from coming forward. I did, though, like what Tyler Steen said after practice overall, saying he liked seeing different looks because they've been going against the same defensive line for a while now, and mixing things up is always a good thing.
After a while, you kind of get a feel of certain players, and certain players get a feel for you, just kind of what you do well and things like that. So it's always good to just get the opportunity to do that. I think going against this different scheme has been great, just because they do so many different things than what our defense does, and the D-line plays a totally different style. So I think, it's what we're going to see during the season. So I think that's been really good for us.
As a whole, though, the offense, they just couldn't get anything going. Devontae Smith being blanketed on multiple pass attempts to the end zone, and the Birds ones not scoring on 5 red zone trips during 11-on-11s. Plus, Tanner McKee with the backups and the second-teamers didn't do much either. Thankfully, though, no turnovers, as Jalen protected the football very well and actually called 3 separate design quarterback runs, which did work. It just wasn't the normal, typical dominant performance from the Birds offense we've seen a lot so far in joint practices and obviously at training camp. And Nick Sirianni clearly wasn't thrilled when he talked to the media after practice.
I thought we had a couple too many negative plays. It's hard to score points when you move backwards. So that's always our goal and what we talk about in training camp or even any practice review or game review in the season. How do you eliminate bad football? But it was good, again, to go against a different style of defense and be able to go through that course. And I thought our combo blocks were good against a really good defensive line and obviously Coach Schwartz got a ton of respect for him. And, you look around his defenses over the years, they're always good on the defensive line. And so it was a good challenge for us on that aspect. And like I said, had a couple too many negative plays, but there's a lot of different things that contribute to that.
But again, the sky's not falling, not all bad. How about Will Shipley, Darius Cooper, obviously the 2 big, bright offensive spots. With Browns beat writer Zach Johnson noting, quote, Will Shipley is good. In Cleveland, he would be the starter and maybe make the Madden cover. The continued solid play from both Shipley and even A.J. Dillon at camp has me pretty darn excited for the running back rotation in 2025. Do I think the Eagles are going to use Saquon Barkley 30-plus times a game? At some point, no doubt. But will they potentially rotate Ship and A.J. a little bit more to spell Barkley this year? I think 100%, and so does Cam Jurgens.
I feel like we got a good, versatile backfield. Everybody has a little bit different part to their game. AJ's that big back, and Ships seems like he's good at doing about everything out there. And, it's fun to watch him grow and learn from Saquon. And now AJ getting in here, he's got a lot of talent. So it's nice seeing him learn from these vets.
Finishing up on the offensive side of the football, how about an appearance from Landon Dickerson, of all people, walking around at practice? This was literally today. You see the footage. That's 1 day removed from his knee surgery that happened yesterday. Not only does he look actually pretty fine, he actually drew quite the buzz on Twitter as well when he handed out some cold refreshments to his fellow Browns offensive linemen. And guess what those are? And they all had a pretty good time.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. I was very happy to see him this morning when he walked into the locker room. I was kind of shocked that he was walking. So, just very happy to see his bubbly face in the building and his energy. And glad everything's going okay.
Now, defensively, sadly, not much better than the offense. As mentioned, this was not a very good day for the Birds. How about Joe Flacco dicing up the Birds secondary? And it really didn't matter if it was Quinyon Mitchell in coverage or Cooper DeJean in coverage, Orion Bennett. All of the guys were getting carved up by the 40-year-old quarterback who finished 7 of 10 with 2 touchdowns. I guess on the bright spot, Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson, they weren't signaled out, so they didn't get really carved up. Wasn't like he was only attacking Keely Ringo because everybody got beat. but man, it was not a good day by the Birds secondary. On the CB2 front, I at least did like what Nick Sirianni said today about why A, they haven't named a starter, and why B, there's still plenty of time for someone to separate themselves from the pack.
Yeah, again, feel good about the depth in the room, and feel good about the pieces that we have that are competing. Yeah, like I know you guys want that answer and looking for it now. We don't have to come up with that answer for a while now. We still got some time to come up with that. So, everything's a competition. That doesn't mean we don't try to put the pieces where we think they should go as it's playing out. But yeah, it's just we're not in as a big a rush of doing that as you guys are, I guess to say.
There were some defensive high points on the day, including Jihaad Campbell, who looked great running around as usual. He put some pressure on both Flacco and Dylan Gabriel in limited reps coming off the edge, while also telling reporters afterwards that, like Myles Garrett, he's a freak too, and loved asking the veteran questions about how to go ahead and attack quarterbacks.
Really just two freaks, talking to each other. He's a great guy, man. We're in the same agency together, so, it was a good, little mojo, just catching up with each other and, just talking about, habits, finding the routine, especially me coming in as a rookie and, just honing on, who I am as a person, just being who I am and, always staying that way and just working hard.
Campbell's rookie counterpart, Drew Mukuba, probably had the play of the day, though, intercepting Dylan Gabriel on a tip drill that was intended for Deontay Johnson. Although I guess it wasn't all fun and games for the rookie, as he got beat on this play by fellow rookie tight end Harold Fannin for a touchdown by DG. Mukuba was up and down. You saw, obviously got an interception and then gave up a touchdown. That's how he's been so far in training camp. Not terrible at times, really good at times, not great at times. It's kind of this pendulum that swung back and forth. He is getting more and more reps as he's been healthier with the first-team safeties. Sidney Brown is still, to me, in line to be the week 1 starter at that position, but Mukuba is working in the right direction, and the more reps he gets, I think the better he's looked. Oh, and I also love hearing Mukuba post-practice explain the difference between, say, playing safety in college and what it's like so far playing in the NFL.
I mean, it's a lot different in college, I tell you that. The quarterbacks at this level, just one little mistake, they're going to make you pay for it. So, just knowing that and knowing how, the accuracy and how on point and how they study the defense to make things a lot easier for them. But, it's a lot different in college, I tell you that. The quarterback here are much better. Obviously, they're in the NFL, so there's some throws that they can make that I had never seen in college. So just seeing that aspect just tells me, that it's different at this level.
Hands down, though, the best player maybe on the field all day long for Philadelphia had to actually be linebacker Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who always seemed to be in the right position and continues to impress and also start. I know Jihaad Campbell, he gets all the hype. He's the rookie. He's the physical freak and likely the future. But Trotter isn't rolling over anytime soon and should still be very much, if not the leader, in the mix to start based on experience and play alone at linebacker heading into week 1. All in all, I'll be honest, it wasn't a great day. I know a lot of people say I'm an Eagle homer, and so I only talk about the good things the Eagles do. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not, but today wasn't good. So I'll give you the honest answer. Philadelphia probably wants to have this one back. Unfortunately, this is the final joint practice, and the next time they play will be on a real football field at the Lincoln Financial Field for the Saturday afternoon game. But is the sky falling? Is the Eagle offense cooked? Is the Eagle secondary going to get shredded every single week? I don't think so. I think it was just a good day by the Browns. They came with more energy. They wanted to kick the Eagles' butts, and they did. My hope is this is sort of a wake-up call for the defending Super Bowl champions to lock in a little bit, not just for Saturday, but again, 3 weeks until the start of the season. Make sure that these sort of days and these sort of games don't happen when the season actually starts. And I bet there's a lot of hard coaching by Vic Fangio, Sirianni, KP, and the rest heading into the weekend. Overall, though, it's always good to cover joint practices and always, of course, good to cover the Philadelphia Eagles. I appreciate, again, 100,000 subs. It's crazy. Just to remind people, we already gave away the Dorney Park tickets. Next video, we're going to announce the winners of the 2 Eagle tickets to a regular season game of your choice. Get your comment down below if you haven't already. Let me know which one you guys want to go to. The members only giveaway, which you can still be a member if you want to sign up for the signed gear, will be the next video, or I guess 2 videos from now, sometime early next week. I'll also announce the Eagle jersey winner on that one as well. So giveaways are happening because we've hit 100K. My way to say thanks to you guys, and plenty more happening in the future. I'm Thomas Mott. We'll see what happens on Saturday. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.